After years of practice, are you still stuck, not able to play difficult bass lines and just not really feeling like a proper bassist? After 16 years of teaching bass professionally, I can show you one ridiculously effective technique that helps bass players just like you get out of this plateau and unlock total fluency when they play. In this video, I'll show you exactly what that technique is, how it brings your playing to a totally new level, and how you can apply it in a live playing situation, so you can stop missing out on all the live gig experiences you've always wanted. Now, do you ever get this horrible gut drop experience on a gig? You know there's a difficult line or a fast riff coming up, but you also know your hands are going to cramp up, you're going to freeze, and everyone there will see that you're just not really in control. And in that split second, you just don't feel like you really belong in the band. A lot of bassists, even ones with years of practice in the bank, feel exactly this way when their technique just can't keep up. So let me show you a ridiculously effective technique that changes all of this. This is something I'm going to go deeper into in my fretting hand technique workshop, which you can check out using the link below. But getting back to this video, here's the mistake almost every bassist makes. When they play, they're told to play right on the tip of each finger. Now, for your middle and ring finger, this advice is okay. Those fingers line up pretty naturally with the strings when you play on the tips. But look at the index and pinky fingers. These naturally curve inwards a little. So if you force them onto the very center of the tip, you have to twist them in awkwardly, which instantly builds tension, saps your control, and before you know it, it wrecks your fluency under pressure. Following this advice just becomes a shortcut to bad technique and even worse confidence when you're on stage. The fix is to use different contact points for each finger. For the middle and ring fingers, I like to play just underneath the tip because it keeps the hand in this natural position. But with the index finger, I like to go just on the outside of the tip, and with the pinky finger, I also go slightly towards the outside of the tip. This keeps your hand in its relaxed natural position, free of any unnecessary tension, ready for any fast riff, fill, or song you'd have to play on stage. So is this really all it takes to finally play fluently and with total control when you're on stage? Not quite. Building bulletproof technique is like piecing together a puzzle, and this is just one piece. Miss the next bit and you will still freeze up when it counts. Because to get true band-ready technical confidence, you need to learn one more detail that unlocks a totally new level of fretting hand fluency. So let me show you that next. Here's where the old just play on the fingertips advice falls apart. Every finger is different, but so is every spot on the neck. If you use the exact same contact points all over the neck, you're just going to run into another wall. The same tension, the same lack of control, the same feeling like you're not really a bassist that can play in a band, all just in a new place. Think back to the contact points we talked about before. In the middle of the neck, those contact points work pretty well, though you may find that your pinky finger needs to be on the outside of the tip a little bit more like this. But low down, the pinky needs to be more on the inside of the tip to facilitate the larger stretches. And high up, the index finger creeps in closer to the center. The best bass players know how to shift and adapt to each register, so the hand always stays loose but still strong. If you don't build this kind of flexibility, you're still going to tense up and freeze under pressure. But nail this and your fretting hand and your gig confidence is going to stay strong even when you're playing the toughest lines. But here's the real question. How do you make this click so that it shows up not just when you practice, but when you're also playing real music? Because if this now doesn't become automatic, you're just going to plateau all over again. So let me show you how to apply this to playing a riff so this becomes second nature. Now, there is nothing worse than being the totally inconsistent bass player who can nail riffs and fills one night, but then completely screw them up the next. If you want to have fluency you can trust every single time, you have to make sure that your hand adapts to every single part of the neck, with no exceptions. That's why I teach this specific riff in my fretting hand workshop. The goal is to play it in 3 different neck regions, each requiring their own hand shape. So, quick interruption here. I'm currently on tour in Asia, and I filmed these videos back in London before I left. So I flew all the way out here with these videos ready to edit, and then when I got here,
I found that the audio file for this next demo had completely corrupted. So I've had to re-record the whole thing with just the best that I could find. And I'm currently sat in my hotel room editing it there. So this is the best I could do with what I could find out here. Hopefully this demo does the lesson justice. If it doesn't, just leave me a message in the comments and I'll get back to you and explain things better. But thanks so much for sticking with it.
So start in the middle of the neck where you can play between roughly the 7th and 12th frets using this set of contact points. Index finger is on the outside just below the tip, the middle and ring fingers are just below the tip, and the pinky finger is on the outside again just below the tip. Then transition to other zones of the neck and use the corresponding contact points. For example, go to the low zone between roughly the 1st and 7th frets and switch to these contact points. And then do the same for the higher register. Now use the pauses and the small spaces in the riff to check in with your technique and make sure that you're correcting anything as you need to. And once you nail this, you can apply it to other songs that you know. So you'll build the kind of fluency and control that will make you the bassist other band members want to follow. But is this all you need to become the bass player that band members can count on night after night? Not quite. Like I said, technique is a puzzle, and right now we've just added one major piece. Ultimately, if your hands can't keep up and your stamina keeps failing, then you're still stuck. And the worst fail of all is gripping the neck way too tightly. That's why I made a video sharing one fix I've taught to hundreds of students, and it saved them from getting stuck on this exact problem. So now you've learned this, to make sure you don't plateau, click up here to watch that video next.